Chris, I've been a follower of your journey for, I would say, I wish I could look it up and find out when I actually first started following you on LinkedIn. But I would say back in my real estate days, probably 2016, 2017.
Wow.
When did your book come out?
My book, I think about 219.
219.
Something
okay.
like that, 219, 220. It was I had 3 weeks off at the end of the year, and obviously I can't stay still having ADHD, so I researched a bunch of writers. I found one that I liked that I gelled with in Budapest, and he goes, I'll help you write a book. I said, fly over though. If we're going to do it, it's got to be properly. And he shadowed me and lived with me, following me, writing the book with me, because there's no chance I'm going to write that many pages and stuff. Then after he wrote the book, then I had a lady who does my, at the time, HR name was Lisa. She reread the book to me while I'm walking around pacing through the office, and I'm making all my changes as well. So 3 weeks, I thought, when I'm off, why don't I write a book? But I actually wrote 2 books, but I never published the other one. I didn't like it enough to publish it. That's how Brick by Brick was born.
Oh, yeah, nice. That's a pretty cool story. We'll get into that, I'm sure. But for those of who may not have heard of you before, do you want to give us a little bit of a spiel about yourself and what you do?
So my name's Chris Christofi. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Reventon. This year we celebrate our 20 years in business, which is a very, very big milestone, something
huge
we're very
milestone.
proud of. So back in the day, I started in real estate. I was about 19, 20, bought my first piece of real estate, fell in love with the process, bought 2, bought 3, bought 4. I bought 8 properties. I was maybe 23. I was a national manager of a company, had about 17, 18 reps across a few states. That company I was working for into receivership, owed me 780 grand, didn't pay me.
Owed you that much?
Because
Wow.
I always wanted to start my own business. I think I mentioned it within the first month when I got hired in that industry. And just before I was about to leave, he said, find me someone as good as you, my ex-boss. So
I'll get you to just pull the mic a little bit closer as well, please, Chris.
I trained my brother, my older brother, for about a year. And as I was about to exit, he said, I want to set up franchises for $250,000. I'm going to give you one for free. Stay with me, because he knew that I'm a home run. I know the business very well. I buy the leads and I make most of the profit.
This is the person you were working for at the time?
Yeah. So
Okay.
he was the first person that interviewed me. So when I got the job, I remember back, I was in sales. So I've been selling stuff since I was 10 years old. I love sales. In Cyprus, I was 10 and my uncle would sell scratch tickets. He'd give me 32 tickets on consignment. I had to pay him for 32 as my profits. On the weekend when I wasn't at school, I was selling. And he had about 6, 7 reps, and I could outsell all of them. And I was only a kid. But my secret was I'd speak to everyone. I'd joke with everyone. I'd walk up and there was sheets of 5 scratchies. I'd say, buy a ticket, it's a lucky one. And they go, I'll have one, Chris. I go, there's only 2 left to buy them. It's the last ones. I'd buy them. Then I'll take my other sheet out. They go, Chris, you said the last ones. I go, that sheet, I got more.
Yeah.
So I got a good rapport with everyone. They'd see me come and they'd laugh and they'd buy more tickets. And 3 months when I was off school, because Cyprus is very hot, I lived in Cyprus from 9 to 16, I was working more regularly because I wanted to make more money. Then I got into pool when I was about 13, so 8 ball, started hustling, making money there. So in Cyprus, I was always either playing pool or working. It was always what I wanted to do. So anyway, long story short, I did door-to-door when I came to Australia. I did telemarketing. I worked at Fastway Couriers selling tickets. And every job I went to, I would always ask the same question, who's the best person here? And I can name them all. Barry was the best at Holiday Concepts. Colin was the best at Fastway Couriers. Valeria and Duncan were the best at In-Homes. And the reason I remember their names is I said, can I spend 1 week with them? So I'd found out who the best salesperson is and I'd shadow them.
And how old were you at this stage?
About 18, 19. So I was working 3 jobs at the time. I was studying full-time, Broadmeadows TAFE. It's the only thing I could get into at tech. And I was trying to become a professional snooker player, which I did for many years. And I was fighting as well. I had 7 fights at the time. My brother's a pro fighter. So I was doing a bit of everything because I like to keep busy, as I said before. So my partner at the time, who I had a son with, saw an ad. It said 120K plus. Sales professionals wanted. Do you have a car? Do you have a phone? Do you have a fax? She cut it out from the paper. Back then it was paper. And she goes, you should call this. It sounds like you. So I called the number. Lady by the name of Robin answered. She was the EA to the owner or to the 2IC, Jason Paris at the time. And as I'm talking, she goes, how old are you? I said, I'm 19. She goes, you're too young. Don't hang up the phone. Don't hang up the phone. Let me come in. Let him say that in my face. Don't hang up the phone, please, Robin. She said, sure. So Trent, who was my ex-boss, I did an interview with him and another guy. He probably thought I'm not going to interview a 19-year-old on my own because he's probably going to waste my time. He's 19. It's too young. After he pitched me, he said to me, Chris, what do you think? I said, I'll be honest with you. I don't know the difference between commercial or residential real estate, but if you give me a chance, I'll be your best guy in 3 months. He said, sure. I worked relentlessly. I studied sales intensely. And all I was doing at the time was introducing clients or prospective buyers to the office where they were meeting a mortgage broker and a property consultant. So my job was to book them, to get them, charge them $330 on the weekend, $275 Monday to Friday, and get them in there open-minded. Their job was to help them with finance and sell them a piece of real estate. So I loved that. And that's when I kept buying real estate. My original manager who hired me started his own company and wanted me to be his national manager. So that's how I got that gig. When that company went into receivership, because I had a franchise at the time, he owed me so much money. That's why he owed me 780 grand. So I had 8 properties, was making hundreds of thousands. I've got no job now. Everything's very, very tough. The worst part of the story is my son almost died. He got bacterial meningitis. I was hospitalized for 2.5 weeks.
He was or you were?
My son.
Yeah, your son was, yeah.
He's got 2 bionic implants now. So my son's profound deaf. So when all this happened, within the space of 1 year, the company went into receivership. I lost my income. 8 properties were sold, liquidated. I was gambling a lot, partying a lot, everything just really happened fast and I didn't have time to catch it. I moved back into my parents' house and ended up with a debt of 348 grand. So if you look at my first office, Reventon, it's basically my parents' living room. There was a fax, an old computer. So there's online, it's very well documented and I've got it in my office, my first office. But back then, the goal was to become a fully integrated financial services company across all platforms. So 20 years later, we achieved that. So we've helped now 10,000 clients. We've sold 3,500 properties, which is 3.45 billion in sales, over $1 billion under assets, under management. We had over 500 reviews, featured in 150 publications, won close to 60 industry awards, wrote that Amazon best-selling book, Your Path to Wealth Brick by Brick. And we're able to open property, finance, accounting, financial planning, and property management. So we did integrate it. We did exactly what we were going to do 20 years ago. Obviously, it wasn't the same. We built the team to like close to 80. But the first few years were very, very good because it's what shaped me and the business to grow into what it is now.
Fantastic. Couple of things there.
What a journey for a start.
Yeah. I liked when you said that at 18 years old, it's very rare. I find it's rare now, and it probably is back then too, for an 18-year-old to have so much self-awareness and that drive to say, hey, give me a chance. Hey, let me see who is the best person in this room. I want to shadow them. I don't feel, correct me if I'm wrong, it might be different in your space too. Do you get many youngsters coming up like that? And do you feel that that was unique to you and what was a driving factor to you being successful? Because so many people in that age, at 18, you're still relatively young and influenced.
You're a kid.
Yeah, you're influenced by those other around you.
I think you hit the nail on the head though. You're influenced by who around you. So I mentioned before that I did snooker. My friends were the best players this country's ever seen or produced. I grew up, I represented Victoria 5 times in the under 18s and under 21s. I was number 2 and 3 in the state.
Yeah.
Number 1 is Neil Robinson. If you look this kid up, he's the most successful non-British player of all time. He's won 24 ranking events. He's a 2010 world champion. This year he got awarded an Australian Award of Merit for his services to snooker, lives in Cambridge. We're talking a freak, one of the best players to ever pick up a cue. He was one of my closest friends. When I was fighting, I always hanged around world champions when I was training kickboxing.
Kickboxing, yeah.
So my brother's a Commonwealth and 2-time Australian champion. So the people that I mentioned prior to this was on my podcast, Sam Groko, Sam Solomon. So if you see the bump on my nose, back before Sam Solomon was a 3-time world boxing champion, he was actually a world kickboxing champion. So he kicked me in the face when we were sparring and broke my nose. That was one of the times it was broken. So I always was in close proximity to champions. And I knew in sales, I was very, very good. I was very, very hardworking, but I knew how much I needed to learn. So I would still study sales till today. And I'm doing all these courses. You name it, I did it. Back then, from Anthony Robbins to Brian Tracy to Tom Hopkins, I spent so much money educating myself to get better. And the funny thing is, the things they were teaching me, I was doing instinctively as a 10-year-old kid.
Yep.
Now, I wasn't as refined, I wasn't as good, but I just gave things a go. I wasn't scared of failing. And I think my biggest strength was I was never intimidated to speak to anyone, even as a 10-year-old, because I always saw someone, it's a human-to-human connection. I don't think anyone, or there was one person that walked the earth that's greater than everyone else, but everyone else were the same. We're all human beings. No one's better than me, and conversely, I'm better than no one. I always had that mentality. I didn't care who it was, whatever field they were. And I always made it my business to know who's good at something, because if I learned from them and I incorporated that into my selling style was relentless, my follow-up was great, and I had a lot of conviction in what I was saying. I was just a good closer.
Yeah, good, important. That's highly important.
But other people are different. They're really funny and they can close. Other people, there's no wrong or right, but there's lessons in all of them. And I think when you look at old school sales, those philosophies of understanding how to uncover a client's challenge, provide a solution, and to really ask the right questions. You're not going in as a salesman, you're going in there like a specialist to really dig. And I usually, this analogy, I came up with like a training methodology I use for my staff, and I used to call it 3-4 deep. And they said, what is that? Imagine you go to a dentist, they go, where's the nerve? They said, it's underneath. So you got to go 3-4 deep. And what that means, you've got to ask 3-4 questions to get to that nerve and to really unpack, why is this person going to proceed? Why haven't they proceeded before, and what would stop them? So I was very good. And when they would ask me, how good are you, when I was closing better than anyone, I got asked that question, 1 to 10, where would you rate your abilities? And I said 2. And they said, why? I go, because there's so much more I need to learn. There was people that were closing at 70%. I had a 93, 94% quarter, booked 53 clients in a row, and I was 20. I said, that's how much I want to learn. This person gave themselves, they were a 70% closer or 75, somewhere in that range. They said they're about a 9 out of 10. And I thought, that's the difference right there. It's the ability to think, I'm already very, very good at what I do. Now, I knew I was good. My results indicated I was good, but how much better can I get? And that's what it was. I just used to work hard.
If you like that clip and you want to watch another one, click just over here. And if you want to watch the full episode, click just over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.